Johnny, do you have many EVs in stock yourself at the moment?
We have about 15 in stock at the minute.
Okay.
New stuff, we're not too bad. We're a new Kia franchise. We're not too bad at selling new EVs, but the second-hand ones, we do get a lot of issues with people worried about the battery health. On the
Okay.
we can test them with the Kia diagnostic equipment for the battery health and the state of charge and that there, but it's more non-franchise stuff at the minute. We're nearly scared to trade one. That's the biggest issue.
And Johnny, if somebody rang you cold with a Kia and they said, "I'd like to get the battery checked, please," how would you go about it? Would you entertain them? Would you let them bring a car in and put the diagnostic on it? How would you charge them for it?
We wouldn't just do it out of the ordinary. It's part of a Kia service at the minute. We would do a battery report as part of that there, and then we reset the available distance driving in that there too. But we wouldn't just do it if somebody rang in. You
wouldn't. Okay, that's interesting. We have a new person joining the team in Motorcheck next month, and she's driving a BMW all-electric car at the moment. She'd like to buy it and bring it with her, but she wants to get the battery tested first, and it's very difficult for her. She's trying to get it booked into a BMW dealership to run a diagnostic on it, and we've no idea what they're going to give her. Will it be a certificate, or will it just be a piece of paper, with something written on? We don't know. And then we don't know what they're going to charge her. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi, Alex. He's muted.
Hello. Yes.
Nice of you to join us.
Yes, I'm sorry for a little bit delayed, but at this moment, my colleague just had an online session with France. So it's.
I was afraid you were going to leave me holding court here, and there's only so long I can talk before people will be like, "Oh my God, this is ever going to happen."
I never leave you alone, Sean. Never.
I'm going to record this as well so that we can show it to anybody who's missed it or send it back to them later.
Okay, no
and I guess the format is going to be, I'm going to stop talking in a second. I'm going to hand it over to Alex, who's obviously the AVILOO representative, and he will bring us through how the unit works and answer any questions. And then I'll be here just to talk about how Motorcheck supports it and what we're going to do on our Motorcheck reports, how we'll integrate them. So over to you, Alex.
That sounds great. So first we show, so we also do today a live test. So where we show then what our unit is capable of. So, but let me introduce first myself. So Alex Millinger. I was working in the international market also with automotive in China and lived there for 5 years in Hong Kong. So I joined this team AVILOO for around about 3 months ago. And I'm responsible now for the UK market, for Benelux market, and also for the Baltics and Eastland. So I'd like to start with a small presentation from our side. So let me switch to our laptop. So 1 second. So this was just my colleague from France. So he's quite busy. So you see we are on the right spot in the market at this moment. So let me go through the presentation. So why we need a battery unit to check the battery health status? Because that's for the reseller, especially for the workshops. So there's a problem. Nobody wants to have a used EV because it just costs money and also can have a financial impact. So for this reason, we developed a presentation boosting profits on selling used EV. Because the biggest question we have at the moment, so what we need security. So this is a question from our clients. So, and please interrupt me if there's any question. So when the customer comes to the dealership, they want to have security, they want to know. Just hear a lot of double noise in the back. So
maybe if we could mute our microphones there. I'm just going to go around and mute everybody there, and maybe that will help us.
Okay.
You can put your hand up if we need to ask a question, and I'll unmute.
That will be great. So that's already much better. So customers want to have security when they purchase and use EV. This is quite important in the European market. And we did a market research in the last year. So we'll be asking the second generation of used EV owners to give us some feedback what they're expecting for the battery. So, and they're expecting normally that most of them that the dealer has already an independent battery certificate. This is quite important for them. So, because as soon as Motorcheck, when I'm buying a car, when I'm buying a normal car, so I also want to have a check heft, so where a check document where I see what's happening with the car, what's the history, so see the value. So, and we asked in UK, we asked in Sweden, in France, in Germany, and you see there the numbers, so that 75% of the buyers say expecting independent battery certificate. So, and for this reason, AVILOO established then the battery certificate and established the international standard, because we are the only company who will do a diagnostic instead of just a BMS readout. So how long does it take? It takes 3 minutes. When you plug in the unit, so then the unit needs 3 minutes to upload everything into our cloud. And we don't need any connection from the internet like Wi-Fi or a LAN connection. So, and there we go when we look into the dealers. So they make an average profit from around 265, also from our case study from selling an EV. So when I look into the UK market, if you want to put a car on the spot, you pay by months roughly 100 to 3,500 euro for a spot to display a car. And this is a lot of money, and you won't sell the car, so you already lose at this vehicle. So, and with our independent battery certificate, so the chance for all the reseller is that we raise then the profit, the margin, to roughly 815 euros. So, and the customer is willing to pay more than 550 to 1,000 euro to buy the car when they have an independent battery certificate. So, and then the next thing, so we're talking about warranty. This is one of the biggest problems. If we sell a car to a client, so there's a warranty issue. Every company in the European market, not in the UK market, they have to guarantee that the car gets warranty for 12 months. So in other countries in the international market, it's also even longer when we look into China, for example. So, and for this reason, if you sell a car, you have this risk that you may get the client back and he wants to replace the battery because the battery has a health issue. So where we are working at this moment, we are expanding, as we had this a little bit a stressy start today. We are, because we are now very strong in the US market, we are very strong already in Australia, we are going to Korea, we are going to Japan, we are established in Europe, and especially we do now the rollout in UK with Motorcheck together as our reseller and partner. So, and here some companies we are working together. So maybe I have to put on later on here Motorcheck, sorry, Shane. But we have already a contract with Mercedes HQ in Germany for the European. So they recommend the AVILOO independent test to each dealer in the European market. I know UK left the European Union. That's the reason there's a little delay. So we have to deal with the OEM in UK. Then we working with AVA, we working with Cox Automotive, and as you all know, BCA. So every car who comes to BCA will have a definitely battery check that is independent through AVILOO. So, and go to the next one. So, and there's a point. So we are the only supplier for a DOIP readout and also diagnostic, because when you can get a dongle for other battery BMS readouts from China, I can also program it by myself. So, but there's a point. We are the only company who uses DOIP, and this is also the future. As you know, also Megane is working with DOIP, Mercedes is working with DOIP, where you especially need then not just the CAN bus, so you need then also the IP information from the car to get them the information out of the car. So when we look in the competitors, they can't do it. So what's happening when we doing the flash test? So all the data we are collecting from the car, so we combine with our big data in our cloud. So we collected already over the last 8 years. So we have permanent employees and also permanent customers who are driving for us the cars in north of Europe, in south of Europe, where you get then also the different climate for the battery. And this is quite important because the most effective for the battery is when you charge the battery fast all the time. This affects the battery health. When you leave the car and there will be for example, you go on holiday, you put it on the connection, it will be charged all the time. It's also bad for the battery. The quality goes down, and also when you're aggressive driver, so with aircon full power and driving quite fast, so this is also bad for the battery. And this data we are all collecting and then compare with the data of the car we are testing at this moment. And here to show you what we are delivering. So let me go to our car. So wait a second. So when you subscribe with Motorcheck, you get a full unit. So where you have then cables for Mercedes and Megane. You have also cables to connect them to Tesla, and also power plug, a power supply, where you can upload or do the update with the AVILOO unit. So what we have to do then, we have to connect to the car. So get in the car. Let's see where my colleague leaves the key. So not in the car, I think then on the table. 1 second. So here we go. We just have to fasten the seat belt. Then we have to put the key into the car. We just press the button power on. Are in parking position. And then we just leave the car like this. And at this moment, what's happening? We connected our unit over here. So the unit is now connected with the OD cable. And then as soon the unit gets a connection, so it's starting to read out all the data. So the unit. So, and there you see now the unit is collecting the VIN number, all the data. So, and after 3 minutes, it compares with the big data cloud, and then you get your report. So let me go over to our presentation again, because now we come when the unit makes the test, so we can monitor, all of you can monitor this. We go then in the results. What is the result? The result is that you get an independent AVILOO score. We also do the BMS readout. You see it here on the site. So where we have then the BMS readout, what all the OEMs are doing, and we get an AVILOO score. What's happening, and there we have to jump to our case study. What is happening when the battery is not okay? So then we have a red flag. And here we have a case study, what's happening to one customer. He bought a car at the dealership. He get an SOH scan. So, and the SOH scan, as you see here, is written by 89.97%. And this shows that the battery quality is 100% okay from the perspective of the dealer. But the issue is there are some problems in the high voltage, and for this reason we get a reflect. So the buyer goes out with the car, he drove 100 kilometers, and then he saw something is wrong with the car, and at this moment, he drove back to the dealer and asked him, so what's wrong with the car? Because I just can drive around 120 kilometers. And the dealer said, I showed you the battery state of health is 89%. And then this guy goes to a garage where they do battery checks. And the battery check was then so the battery check, they asking him for 1,500 euro to make the battery check, and he have to leave the car over there. The customer was a little bit afraid because he thought, so I just bought the car. When I pay this, so I have to sue then the dealer that I get my money back if there's an issue with the battery. So he looked around in the internet, and then he found an independent garage where he can see that they have AVILOO. So he went to this guy, so they just make a quick flash test in 3 minutes. They get this retrospective report where we see there is a problem in the high voltage cell, and but still the SOA from the BMS readouts is by 89%. So we go then, we get this information from this garage, and they ask us what should we do. Then we offered them to make a premium test, and this premium test, when there's an issue with the battery, shows a little bit more information. So where then the car will charge to 100%, and then the AVILOO unit will be connected and then discharged to 10%, and then the real SOH of the vehicle was 42%, and here I can write a distance from 220 kilometers. So, and with this documentation, he went back to the dealer, and then they have to look into the battery, do the big diagnostic, and they had to take the car back. So this was happening in the past. So and immediately the dealer changed that he used then the AVILOO unit. So what is coming new from our side? What is coming new? So we have a new battery certificate. It's more detailed, where you also can see the extended cell structure, where it shows you in which area is a red flag. For example, you buy a car and you see there's a problem in one cell in one area, and then you can estimate and calculate how much will be the repair with a certified battery specialist who can repair the car, and then you can trade in the car and you have a value. When you see the car is by 94.5%, then you can trade in the car with no headache. You can already publish this car in the web, so where you can sell it again. Yes, question? No? Where you can sell it then again into the market, and you are safe, because when you sell the car, you have this independent battery certificate and it's reliable, so there's no issue in the next 12 months where you have any situation with the battery health of the car. So, and then other brands are supporting us. As you see, Audi, Ford, we have in contact with Hyundai. We are looking also into BYD. We can do Tesla. We covered 95% of all cars in the market. So 95% of all OEMs for EVs and plug-in EVs. So, and about the cost, Sean will tell you later, but let me show you then the report. So we just get from our unit. You see now here, unit is on green. So, and so where we got it. So let me see how I can share here then my desktop. Cancel. Here.
Sorry, Alex, I know you're used to using Teams.
Yes,
Google.
yes.
This is nothing new. It's a little arrow at the bottom or a square with the arrow sticking in it.
So here we go. So now this, you see also that we have evidence. We see the time, you know, you are one hour further. So we did this test today. Yes, we see the VIN number, we see the model number, we see this size of the battery, the voltage, and we see also the mileage of the car, and we see the score. This is a very new car from our CEO. So, and of course we see here then the SOH. And what's here interesting when you're looking here to the SOH, so it's showing 102.88%. So, you know, when you have a glass, so a glass have 100% and not 110%, just have 100%. And it's the same as with the battery. So we just have 100%. So, and the SOH, the BMS readout, will be showing you 103% roughly. But the real number is 100%. And if you want to publish then also in the internet, your car, so let me show you this one. So you get an additional JPEG where you can publish and put it online. So where you see then the model number, the mileage, then here will be written Motorcheck, and maybe in combination with your company, so that you have also then this independent. And here we see the AVILOO score, the high voltage, and still the state of health, the SOH. This is at this moment the time for Q&A, or maybe Sean will explain about the cost of the AVILOO unit. And
yeah, thanks, Alex. Great to see it being done live again there. We as you know, or I'll just explain, at Motorcheck are connecting into an AVILOO API, so that if you're running a Motorcheck report against an EV, it will automatically check your AVILOO unit, if you have one at the dealership, and pick up the results of any checks you've done and bring it directly into your Motorcheck report, where we'll include the certificate and the AVILOO score for the vehicle. You'll be able to download the certificate directly from the Motorcheck report directly there as well. That means that any user in your dealership or your group will have access, once they're in Motorcheck, to the certificate that's been produced. That's with our dev teams at the moment, and they're working busily at that. It will be done in a number of weeks. But as it sits today, if you take delivery of an AVILOO unit, you will give us an email address that you'd like the certificates to be sent to, and it will work straight away out of the box for you, connecting to any car. Within 3 minutes, that certificate will be delivered to you directly on your inbox. And that email address can be your own email, or it can be a generic email for the dealership. It could be to your sales email address, so that multiple people get access to it. No issue that way. And around the costings, the unit is made available on a rental basis at £45 per month. That includes the supply of it, the SIM card that's built in, all the necessary warranties. So if there was ever any trouble with it, it stopped using, you'd get a new unit shipped out immediately. And the tests are on a per test basis at £35. That includes the API linking directly into Motorcheck. There's no additional costs. And there is no minimum volume of tests that you have to run. Once you have the unit, you can run 0 or 100 tests if needs be. Alex has raised his hand there. So Alex, are you able to unmute yourself? Or
I'm already unmuted.
You're already unmuted. Yeah, go ahead.
We just forgot one of the most important things. So as we see the unit here, the unit is still online and the power supply comes through the car. So in this small AVILOO unit, so there's already a physical SIM card inside and an SD card. So what's happening if your garage is completely like out of metal and the internet connection is not good? It doesn't matter. So you connect to the OBD, you get all the information, then you just do it in your office, maybe one floor higher, and then connect, and then automatically the AVILOO unit connect to the internet, independent, without VLAN, without any connection, with no app, and then transfer the data to the cloud, send the information to Motorcheck, and then send directly to your email address. This I just have forgot. I just want to add this because this is very important. This makes everything very easy to use the unit.
Yeah, we had a customer during the week who wanted to put a unit with his transporter. So the person he's sending out collect cars, they normally will do a walk around and take pictures of any damage on the car, but he's insisting now that any EVs or plug-in hybrids, he connects the AVILOO unit. And that was one of his questions. If he's in an area that doesn't have good signal, what does he do? So as you say, you just plug it in, complete the test, and when you get into an area with a good signal, it will automatically send the certificate straight down into the inbox. So does anybody have any questions? What I'd be interested, Johnny, in what you think about it, how it compares to what you do for the OEM state of health one at the moment for Kias.
It definitely seems a lot more detailed. At the minute, our sort of only reporting from the batteries all just from your data on the diagnostics, so it's all separate. We wouldn't do the way that there gives you each individual cell report as well. Like we wouldn't print any of that out. And as well as that there, it's nice that it gives you a summary as opposed to, you know, if you're not technically minded, you wouldn't know what you're looking at from a diagnostic report as opposed to that putting it plain and simple to you. But definitely it does look very good.
Great, thank you. Have you any questions about it yourself, how it works, or is it all fairly self-explanatory?
No, it all seems to be quite self-explanatory. Have you had any issues with it sort of contradicting any other reports, or, you know, what sort of guarantee is it that it's 100% accurate to use anything? If it's like, how come the dealer diagnostic tool on the one you were talking about was showing 89, but then yours was showing 40% or 44? You know, what was the difference there that caused that there? Because surely the dealers have the best diagnostic equipment for that brand.
That's a great question, Johnny, and one we were chatting about earlier today, and I did a LinkedIn post about it this afternoon, about what the state of health coming from the battery management system is and why it can be very different to the AVILOO score. I'll let Alex answer that one because he's better. I have a good idea, but Alex, I'll let you answer that one.
So the point is, when we looking in all OEM diagnostic tools, so it's not diagnostic tools, it's just a BMS readout. So from the battery management system, where we're looking here, and that's the reason we have this international agreement with Hyundai. We have this agreement already with Nissan. We have this with Mercedes, because we need an independent battery test. And as we can still show then the presentation quick. So as we see here, so what's happening there? So you see in detail each cell. So if you want to do this with BMS dongle, so from Alibaba, whatever, you just get a readout and we don't dive in there into the cells. So when we connected then the AVILOO unit, so we collecting around about 100,000 data points, so where we can also pinging each cell and ask each cell how's the battery status, how's the situation, and this will be compared with our big data cloud, so where we already collected over 3 million kilometers of data with EVs. So, and this will be compared, and then the calculation will be done for the real independent battery certificate.
Mm. So my understanding of it, Johnny, is that the SOH from the OEM, or the state of health number, is just one variable that's available from the battery management system. It's one number, and it doesn't actually offer a diagnostic of the battery, or it doesn't take into account how the car has been used, how often it's been fast charged, what kind of load it was under, what manner the driver discharged as they owned. And can be different to the true. So you can have a car with a very good state of health, but the range is only 50% of what it should be. And then those questions have to be answered. And there is another level of check that AVILOO offer called a, what's it called, Alex? It's not the flash test. Is it called a premium test? Or
there's then the premium test. So, and you see it here on the right. So where we have then in this special case study where you see 220 kilometers, this is a premium test where you connect then the AVILOO unit and drives them from 100% to 10%, because we need to collect them more data to see what is the issue with the battery in detail. So, and this you can do with the same unit. For example, if you need to do then a premium test, then you just get a message to Shane, and then our customer support team will additional give you then the opportunity to get then the premium test. So, and you don't have to change the unit.
It's a different use case there, Johnny. So the first one is to certify and validate a healthy battery, which hopefully will be the case, you know, across 90% of your cars. But where one shows that the battery is not healthy, the second question then, well, what's wrong with it? It's all well and good to say it's not healthy, and then this premium test will actually dive in and find out more information. As Alex says, you need to leave the box plugged into the car and discharge it from 100% to 10%, and it will collect millions of data points, believe it or not, while it's discharging that, and then produce a much more detailed diagnostic of what's wrong with the battery.
Right.
Hopefully they will be few and far between for you. But rather than just saying, you know, there's a red flag here and saying, well, we're not quite sure, take it back to the OEM. Actually, the AVILOO system will let you dive in deeper if you need to. So I guess that might be for people bringing a car back to you they've bought from you in the past, where you have a duty to check what's going wrong. If a car is being offered to you for purchase and it's got a very low AVILOO score or a warning, you're probably not going to buy that car at that stage. You know, it's got a significant problem. And it's for the seller to go and work out the full diagnostic on it, which of course you can offer as a service. If you've got the unit there, you can charge a fee for it. So we see dealerships charging £65 for the flash test as a service. So a walk-in service for people coming into your after-sales department. I'm not sure about this car, you know, I'm not getting the range that I was getting before. Could you check it for me? Well, you'll be able to check 95% of EVs and plug-in hybrids if you have an AVILOO unit on site. And you can charge for a labour rate or just a flat fee of £65. And you'll have it done in 3 minutes.
Yeah. And in terms of, my only other question is, see the way that it takes into account the driving style of the vehicle. If you had a vehicle with a good state of health of the battery, but say it had been driven harder than normal, is that going to bring its AVILOO score down, even though the battery might be okay, just because its driving style was a little more reckless than what it should have been?
Yes, we can consider all this facts. So when a battery, so they have a different reaction or a different lifetime. So when we, for example, we just driving in Spain because it's a very hot area, so the battery lifetime will change. So when we go to the Nordics, where it's all the time cold, so then we have also a better situation. So and when somebody just drives a car to 1% and then leave it on site, goes for 1 month in holiday, it's an issue for the battery, because this is not healthy for the battery. On the other hand, when you have the car for 1 month on the connection, on the plug, so it's also not good for the battery. And then you have this aggressive driver, and this is especially when we talk about BCA, for example. There's an auction, and we're talking also there about fleets. So what we having in the past. So and if then one client have, for example, in a leasing 50 cars, yes, and they have an average that 10 of these people driving like crazy guys, so it's not good for the battery. The value of the car after the battery test goes down. And then for the next lease, when the company say, we want to lease 50 cars again, so then the leasing company already starting to calculate then the different value of the battery that they give here, then higher charge for the leasing. Please go ahead, Sean.
Alex, would it be fair to say that when Johnny asks the question, if somebody has driven the car hard, will that bring the AVILOO score down? That it's not necessarily the case, that you will go to your big data cloud and you might have one car like, I'm just going to use brand names, I have no idea if this is true or not, let's assume it's not, but you might find that somebody driving a Tesla hard will not bring the AVILOO score down as much as somebody who's driving an IQ or a different type of car. It all depends on what you've learned in your big data cloud. Would that be
Yes.
fair to say?
Yes, and there you see it here in our new certificate. 1 second over there. So you see here in the middle, so the benchmark. So if we have example, there's Opel Ampera. So they just built 5,000 cars. So and there will be a low data volume what we have then already collected. So we are not in the middle there. We are maybe on the more on the left or on the right side, and also bring this in the calculation within. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Depends on the car, of course, but as you know, the manufacture of batteries mostly coming from China. So in the end, so there are in different shapes. We have then cells, batteries, and also the structure of the battery. The diagnostic we take out of the batteries. We can compare a Tesla 3 with a Tesla Y, or if the same battery is in a Megane, so we compare then also this battery. So there are a lot of data dots we are connecting over there.
Right.
I hope this answered the question.
I'll bring Schofield Motors in there as well. We have a question. You might need to unmute yourself there.
Yeah, it's Drew from Schofield Motors. You all right?
Hi, Drew. Hi, Drew. We were chatting yesterday, I think, weren't we?
Yeah. I've got a couple of questions, really. First of all, I've seen the video online of the test being done on a Tesla, and I think the person doing it had to put the vehicle into sleep mode, was it, or something, before they did it? Is that correct?
So for the Tesla, so it's like this because there's no OBD. So there are 5 different approach. So in the middle area of the Tesla, let me show you on the Mercedes quick so that you can see. So the Tesla connection is here underneath it. So, and then there is a CAN bus. We have to unplug and bring then a special cable in between. So this one.
Yeah.
So, and then we generate an OBD, and this will be connected then to our AVILOO unit. And then you get inside, and this is a different with Tesla. You have to get inside, you have to start the engine, and then you have to press the brakes so that the Tesla knows you are sitting in the car and this is active. And sometimes for the Tesla, you also have to close the doors because they have this special AI, or I don't know what is in detail, to protect if to see if there are people inside or not inside. So and then you wait then 3 minutes by the Tesla, then you get out, switch off the car, and then you already have on your mobile, you have then the flash test, or you see it on our unit as I showed you here in our box. Also with the Tesla, you see then here it's green. So when it's green like this, already uploaded.
Okay, so from vehicle to vehicle, there's some slight idiosyncrasies which are that you have to do. Is that right?
Yes,
that's right.
There's some different. Yes, there are some different parts, but I just show you another thing. Shane, go ahead. I will open another document so that I can.
While Alex is bringing that up, Drew, we have a library available online of all the different vehicles, YouTube videos. If there's any different strange connection,
you get where I'm coming from, don't you? Because what I'm thinking is, in practical terms, someone like myself who's never done this before, who all of a sudden we're faced with a prospect of having to go and do it, and we come across one that's slightly different to another, and what I'm saying is the help there.
Yes.
Right. Yes, it is.
Let me answer the question. So this is for example, so our one pager. So we will send it by email to you, and maybe you will get a new one also from Motorcheck in the future, where their logo is inside, also their support line. But we have still our support line. Also, when you are the customer of Motorcheck, you see here the UK number. There you can call, you can send an email, and then we have this 3 QR code. And this is not just a show. You can already scan it from the monitor. You see at first AVILOO vehicle cable description. so where you see in detail which car you have to use for this vehicle. Second one is then the AVILOO vehicle coverage list, where you connect it directly to our online platform, where you see all the vehicles. And then also, on the other hand, then a flash test guide, where you see then every detail how to do a flash test. And in addition, as soon as you subscribe for our AVILOO unit, you will get access to the Academy. So, and we are doing the Academy 2.0, where you can watch the videos every day or every second day. And if you forgot something, you can look into it. But for me, very important, when you start and there's a question, so just write a small message, maybe in the Motorcheck chatter or to us, and then we will support you, because we want to get it easy done. And you will see with this small unit, you don't have any headache.
Right. Okay. Great stuff. And in terms of, the battery percentage, and we were talking, what would you say is actually a battery percentage reading from AVILOO that is not really fit for purpose? So we're talking 80%, 85%.
So if you're a car reseller, so I would recommend you 70%. So
Right.
And then also push then the client down who want to trade in the car, that you get a lower price. So
Yeah.
And then maybe, and Shane and I, we are working on this one. There are some companies in the UK. There are a little number of battery certified companies, and I have one. So who can also then later on check the battery, repair some parts of the battery when you get then the cell information to raise up then the value for the car. And if we want to circle it in the whole direction. But normally I would recommend that you have by 76, 80, 90%. So then you have a good car, what you can trade in. But you can calculate then. You don't have the situation that you say you buy blind. So you see the value of the battery. And as I think but to change or repair a battery can be 1,000 if it's just one cell and you have the right partner for this, but then also up to 15,000 when you have to change the whole battery. And then the damage, how many EVs you have to sell to get then this financial impact back. And this we completely, and with our small amount of flash test costs, so you are completely financial protected, 12 months warranty protected. So it's I think it's a game changer for the market.
Okay.
I think Daryl had an experience there. He was telling me about before we came online. He's waiting for a battery to be changed in a car at the moment, and there's a big delay on it. Do you want to tell us about that, Daryl? Did I answer your question, Drew? Is that okay?
Yeah, thanks. That's it explains it. Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem. You'll need to unmute yourself there, Daryl.
Hi. Yeah, the battery's stuck in the customs, waiting for release. It's taken 7 weeks from Poland, LG.
Wow, 7 weeks and it's stuck in customs. What type of car is that?
LEVC. So it's only partial electric. It's hybrid.
Okay. Right. It would be interesting to get the AVILOO unit on the car. Would it? Is the car still there with the bad battery in it at the moment?
Yes, it is, but it's in Birmingham. We're in Junction 28. So,
okay.
But it's had a water ingress problem and it's blown the battery.
Oh, right. It probably wouldn't even have the 5% charge that's needed for the AVILOO Box to do its thing.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
And this is, and there's a big demand. So the headaches, the financial damage, or also additional cost to find the certified partner to do the repair, to get them the spare parts. You can avoid it because when you get this check, you see already from the beginning. I don't trade in this car because I see a red flag or a dark yellow flag. So then I protect my company on this. Go to another dealer. So.
Thanks, Daryl.
Thank you.
Dwayne, you're muted there as well. Have you anything to ask or give us your thoughts at all from the Cell EV's point of view?
Oh, hi there, guys.
Hi,
No,
Dwayne.
pretty self-explanatory. We had an experience of a 2015 e-Golf last year, replacing a battery on that, and similar to Daryl, took quite a while whilst waiting for the battery to come from Norway. So yeah, it'll be good to try this out and yeah, compare it against the data that we're currently collecting using ODB.
Okay, super. Well, I guess if nobody else has any questions, we could probably end it there. We're 52
Can I
minutes
ask a quick question? Is this suitable for Peugeot Citroën type of product? Does it say anything?
I believe it is. Peugeot Citroën, Alex, all good?
Vauxhall?
Yes, yes. And for this,
95%, Daryl.
Thank you,
Yes.
Shane.
maybe Shane can share the PDF. I just sent you by WhatsApp later on with you guys. This is a so the pre-document. So what we already have is not the final document with Motorcheck together, but there you can check each car, and you just have to scan this code, and then you see it's covered or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Also, on the web page that we were using, Daryl, to promote the AVILOO system, down the bottom towards the end, you'll see the help section. You click that and it'll open on Motorcheck a whole area we have dedicated to EVs, and one of those is what vehicles does it cover, and there's a link to the entire fleet database.
Could you send me the link again? Thank you, Shane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
I'll send it round to everybody just so it's available there.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And don't forget, so we did a special marketing situation with Motorcheck. So the first 50 dealers or 50 new partners from Motorcheck, they will receive the first 5 tests for free.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Alex, for reminding me on that. And we still have a few orders to go before we the 50 mark. And that's first 5 certificates at £35 free of charge. So it's about £175 worth, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, great. Well,
thank
you everybody for your time and for asking those questions and giving that feedback. We've recorded this, so I'll make this webinar available on the landing page as well, assuming nobody has a problem with me putting it up. Can I take it that everybody's okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, Johnny. Okay, great. Thanks,
Thank
Drew.
you. Cheers now. Have a good evening.
Thank you for your time. Good night. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.